Guys, this is it. This is it.
Neat.
We got side rooms. We got live streams to live streams. I don't know if that's LinkedIn first, but I'm pumped. I'm pumped, guys. We're gonna have a great conversation tonight. We got JP in the house, the one and only John Palmer. Yeah, exactly. We're about to. It's gonna be like a high school fight right now. And we got Liam in the middle perfectly. I didn't plan that, but perfectly. Yeah, you're right there to moderate. So, John, hey, I know this is the first time we've even had like a conversation, man. So
it is.
Yeah, dude. Why don't you just start with like the video, man? Just how did you get so passionate about video?
I just want to know: is this the biggest debate going on right now besides the presidential debate? Like, do people really want to know? I was absolutely shocked that it was almost like cut right in the middle. 50-50 video and text. I could not believe that. I thought, okay, maybe there's like a handful of votes and it just happens to be right in the middle. But that was insane. I couldn't. Were you shocked by that?
Well, let's see. There's 423 votes. And obviously, like, video took the edge. But, I mean, yeah, it was 214 to 209.
That's insane.
And then you go down. I mean, there's probably people we could take off the video content because they're selling video content. Right. So if we took off everyone who's selling video content, it's probably 209 to 90. But that's what I was saying.
Fair enough. Yeah, but to our defense, it's just like even the people see that's where I really want to jump into it. Like, it's not that we're against text. We're just utilizing LinkedIn at its fullest. Because I have text above all of my posts. So I don't even know if this is an argument about text versus video. I think this is an argument about you guys not doing video.
Well, I do some video. I think what I found with video is, like, when I watch your video, you are super engaging. You've got like the skits going on. You're funny. And you're probably one of the your videos are long too. And I'll stick around for that whole video.
Yep.
But man, if I'm on the fly, if I'm on the go, I'm scrolling through, and I usually read the text on top of a video, and I'll comment based on that text. If that text wasn't there, I don't have the time, unless it's someone I know. That's where to me, text, it's more respectful of the consumer because it's a message. And if you look at the average usage of LinkedIn, outside of us psychos, most people are on there 10 minutes a day. So they're scrolling through. I don't know if they're stopping at the video. I think they would go to Instagram for video. That's all. That's kind of where I would see the power with text. So I don't know. Right. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, like I think it's really great that you say that it's really you respecting your audience, because I think that there's a lot of truth to that. It's because that's really how I view my content. If I don't feel like every sentence has some degree of impact to it, why is it there? And I do that purposely because I respect my audience. I don't post every day because I respect my audience. I want to, hit them Monday, Thursday with the most impactful message possible, as opposed to just like every day hitting them. Now, Joel, you're like one of the very unique guys that it's like, I feel like there's so much magic in what you do. It's just like you're an idea machine that you can, you and like Luke Matthews, like a couple individuals that you can come up with fresh ideas daily. To me, that's insane. Like I could just never do that. I can't think of that much stuff, and still maintain like a normal life. Right. So I think that that's what it is. I think we're kind of like in the middle when it comes to that. It's respecting our audiences and ensuring that when we do share something, it carries the most impact. But to give a little bit, since you asked already, to give a little bit of a background, I got my start on LinkedIn in January. So this is kind of like my 10th month on LinkedIn. And, like essentially my backstory is I was a professional wrestler. That didn't work out. Right. And so I became an accountant, but I had like something within me. I wanted to express myself, just didn't have the way to do so, because like Instagram, Facebook, they're so overpopulated. I just didn't think that I would stand out, And so my dad decided he wanted to rebrand. I saw that Shay was killing it on video. I thought that it was a great way to generate leads for our business. So I started creating content. My dad hated it. He hated what I was doing. He was like, dude, put that garbage on your own page. And I was like, all right, I'll put it on my own page. And I just started blowing up. So, that's kind of where it started. And then obviously being affiliated with Shay, she said, hey, go quit your job, be basically a walking testimonial, and then it's become what it is today. So yeah, it's been really fun.
How many followers do you have now? Not that necessarily you.
Yeah, I'm approaching 50. So I'd say like within the last like 3 months or so, it's like 1,000 new ones every 3 or 4 days. It's growing fast.
So it's with basically each video you drop, you're getting 1,000 followers.
Right. More or less, yeah.
I mean, and that's what I think. Like when I think of a video really done well, it's obviously engaging. Like I think anybody who's watching right now, a lot of people will just show up because you're an engaging person. What advice would you give, or like what's the argument for someone who doesn't have maybe the same theatric background, or maybe doesn't have that same comfort level in video? I mean, because you're kind of an anomaly with what you do, and Shay is too. Right. Like, I mean, both of you guys are probably not the prime examples of people that I would think of typical video people. So what advice do you give to people who are uncomfortable? Like, how do you get over that?
I think that it's, there is an element to it, right? Like I do feel like, and I tell my clients the same thing. It's just like, there is like a certain talent that you need to have. It's kind of like LeBron, it's like, as much as you practice, you're probably not going to play for the NBA, right? Like that, it's just not going to happen. So you can't compare yourself to somebody else, especially somebody that's, just has like natural talent for it. But I also believe in my heart, there is no such thing as a bad content idea. It's just, how do we nurture it? How do we remix it? How do we make it relatable? And I think that that's the key to the best content. Like whenever, when I have like a top bar or like the first sentence in my video, I ensure like, how can I capture the attention of the most people possible? How can I pick a topic that can relate to the biggest audience possible on LinkedIn? Also, if you notice, most of my content, I'm talking about LinkedIn. That's an unfair advantage, I could almost say. Talking about LinkedIn on LinkedIn is kind of like how, YouTubers talk drama about one another, and that's how they generate so many views on their content, talking about each other. LinkedIn, it's talking about the platform itself. So, there are some unfair advantages, but I'd say that somebody that is shy about video content specifically, you don't like, I point them to guys like you. I point them to people that I see.
Sorry. There's so many great comments going on, man. I feel bad that I had to do that one up there, but I had to do it.
Sitting here reading and I'm trying to pay attention, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't divert from the conversation.
Right.
Yeah. No, I love that, man. I think that I mean, that's the point of video, right? When I think of Shay, like I think of like LinkedIn videos. So if you're making LinkedIn videos about LinkedIn videos, you're probably going to generate, leads about
unfair
LinkedIn
advantage.
Videos.
Yeah.
So my question is okay, what if you're the guy who is working for Cintas and you're an account manager and you're selling services that clean a building? Is that going to be the same idea? Like you're going to light it up and you're going to have these different topics. Like how do you coach people in that, I guess, or do you just go, hey, just make videos that are fun and they'll know that you work at Cintas?
I think like I have to be completely frank with you, like I have to kind of like really look at the person's, career, what they do, what kind of drives them. But for example, we had a client that he worked in a very obscure, like field, like he did like manual labor, right? And he came to us and he wants to like generate leads for his particular city. Now that's a challenging situation because we're not talking about recruiting. We're not talking about marketing or sales where there's plenty of content you can create. This guy's like, no, dude, I'm a plumber and I want to generate leads in Austin, Texas. And we're like, dude, this is going to be tough. But then what I learned is, I just had conversations with him and I learned that he was really passionate about woodworking. So when he talked about what he did for a living, it was boring because he wasn't passionate about it. And I was like, dude, like sand a piece of wood while you're talking about your business, like create something, go with an axe and start, but at the same time, talk about what you do. Like find ways to take the woodworking and combine it with your industry, create like the analogies that can help like drive more attention to what you're doing. And then he started hitting it big with the woodworking stuff and people started tuning in for that. And then at the same time, like now he's considered kind of like an influencer within the plumbing industry in Austin, Texas, because it's not about him talking about the plumbing. It's about the fact that he has an audience now. So, you know, we were able to find like his passion. So when he's on camera, he's super excited because he's doing his woodwork, his passion. He's in like his garage and he's like working on his craft. And he's like, at the same time, he's like, listen, if you got this situation with plumbing, here's what you should do. People's eyes are looking at the wood, but they're listening subconsciously to what he's talking about the plumbing. So that's kind of how we take somebody that's a little bit obscure and make that marriage with the content.
Okay, I like that. So what about with, okay, let's talk about text a little bit, because obviously it's text versus video. You know, have you do a lot of text posts, or like what? I mean, because
I've only done one. I've done one ever. Yeah.
And that it just didn't go well. I mean, why?
It went great. It went great. I mean, I talked about like something that was like, it was my fertility post. I mean, I guess it had a picture and it, you know, whatever. But I've never done a strictly text post. But it's out of insecurity. I don't consider myself a good writer. I think that a lot of the appeal of my video, the secret element of my video, is my editing. It's the fact that, dude, like when you see my videos, there's so many. It's like I make my content for 5-year-olds, and it's like, you know, like I really look at my content as an experience. It's not even content. It's an experience. I'm not like, the messaging might be LinkedIn marketing, but I'm selling an experience. I'm selling entertainment. And yeah, there's just so much going on. So like when it comes to text posts, I'm very insecure about my writing. That's why I hide it behind all the gimmicks.
You know, I mean, and I love that, man. I mean, that's what I feel when I'm watching your videos. It's an experience. I think where text comes in for me is like, I'm on video and I do lives a lot, but like I'm not, you know, well, even with a lot of my target market when I was in recruiting, I was going after construction guys, and I can tell you right now, nobody I even talked to was even on LinkedIn. So, and if they would go on LinkedIn, I mean, they're not liking posts. And so the best hope that I got is I got to stay on top of that news feed, and they got to see Joel Lalgee, because part of my strategy is, especially in recruiting, it's just staying top of mind. How do you do that? It's a news feed. And if you're able to post 3 or 4 times a day, and they're thoughtful, obviously, like I'm thinking of different things. I'm not doing the viral post and then recycling it every 2 weeks. And you know, which is, I mean, that's what's happening right now, is you just got people who are recycling posts every 4 weeks. But if you're able to reach, let's say, 4 different groups of people, because that's how my audience is built, and I have a post that sells, I have a post that's, you know, maybe more motivational, I have a post that's informative, I have a post that's on LinkedIn, you know, I'm able to generate and stay at the top of the newsfeed. And I would say with the exception of you and Shay, I mean, because like with your videos, you're getting 44,000 views. I saw on one of them on your profile. That's a lot. But most of the people that I see on LinkedIn who are doing videos, Trevor Houston, you're the same way. I mean, just I can name anyone who's doing videos. It's under 5,000, and I'm clocking in, you know, probably 60,000 views a day of just text. And so, and I know that because the video, it would take me so long to think of the ideas, and it wouldn't be my skill. And so I know one of the comments that I heard was like, text doesn't build authority. And I think it was Trevor who said that in the pre-show. I mean, Trevor, I just want to say right now, Bridget, Oleg, Lorena, I mean, they got millions of followers. So it's you can't say that. Like LinkedIn is a text-based primarily. Video is pretty new on the platform as it is. So to say that is ridiculous. But I think to your point, you know, text is the same as video in terms like you want to create that experience and you want to show your personality, you want to show who you are, you know, but you got to go with what your strength is, you know, and I think that's kind of where we would agree with that.
Now, to touch on that, because me being like such a heavy video guy, I will say without a doubt, text does build authority. I don't know how far back you guys go, but before social media was a big thing, I feel like the reason why I'm good at it now is because of like old school, like GeoCities, like discussion boards, like all of that stuff. You know, there was no video. You built your authority through text, you know, like LiveJournal, you know, like all of those old blogs and stuff like that. that's like where I got like my bearings. That's where I started, right? So
Right.
and people did build quite a bit of authority, like a Seth Godin, who built blogs. Like that's where he got his start. That's what he did, So I'd say, yeah, like, without a doubt, text, you can certainly build tons of
But 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I think it's a completely different conversation. I don't think you can look at platforms like TikTok. I mean, I've experimented enough on TikTok and tried to build an audience. Again, that wasn't my thing. Why? Because I don't have anything going for me. I don't know how to video edit. I don't have a talent. I'm not funny. I don't have those things going for me. So it's like, okay, text makes sense in order to express the ideas. But 5 years from now, 10 years from now, video is obviously going to play more. So I think there is something to making that play right now. What do you think? Do you think that it is possible that LinkedIn could make a transformation in the next 2, 3 years, 5 years, where it's all video, or do you always see it being a heavily text-based platform?
Yeah, it's always, yeah. And I'm speaking as somebody that sells it. Text is always going to dominate on LinkedIn. That's my opinion, right? Here's the challenge that I see, and this is why I would encourage you to continue to give LinkedIn video, and video in general, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it may be. You're more relatable, right? Like sometimes, one of the things that I have to do is I kind of have to bring myself, I have to kind of calm myself down a little bit. I have to there's a lot that I cannot get away with because of my background. My background as a model, my background as a wrestler, my background is having, a lot of personality. When clients come to us and they talk to us, they don't feel like we are reachable, right? Because we're already so good at it. You need your clients to feel because you can do it. It's almost like somebody that's always been in amazing shape trying to give you dieting advice. You're like, hey, listen,
100%.
asshole, you have always been in shape. You don't know what my life is like, right? But if you see somebody that's lost 50 pounds and kept it off, they know the struggle, they've been there, and they've built themselves into something else. They have that dramatic before and after. You can look at that individual and say, hey, you know what? If they can do it, I can do it. And that's something that we struggle with, where I think that you are a little bit more relatable, So I feel like when it comes to connecting with people, that's one of your strengths. I'd encourage you to keep doing video because I think that, your ability to resonate with people would definitely be stronger than myself or Shay.
Interesting point, man. And I just we got Trevor here too, and he makes a good point. 2 billion hours are consumed on YouTube.
Ooh,
and so obviously
second biggest search platform. So Trevor's right. Trevor's my guy.
YouTube is huge, and obviously, I'm not here to debate whether or not video is powerful. It's just whether or not on LinkedIn, video is the most powerful method that you can use to reach people. I mean, one of the things that I think is interesting is and this is how I would see video is the connection with me is most powerful offline. So if I can get engaging with someone in a comment and I can connect with them and then I can send them a DM, once we have a conversation, then we're really connected. Doesn't matter how many videos they see, they know me in real life. And so I think that's where I think just text, it provides you a way to be able to on multiple level because you can just put so much out. I mean, I get a lot of comments on my stuff and I'm able to engage a lot more with people. And it also gives me more time to spend engaging other people. So when you talk about a video, I mean, how long is it to edit one of those videos? I mean, you've been editing for a while.
Yeah.
So those are 3 minute long. So how long is it?
So, and also to give people, to make it real for people, I had never edited a video prior to January. I've learned how to edit video this year. So, you guys can learn within 10 months how to edit videos the same way that I do, just a lot of YouTube videos. It's all there for you. I didn't have to take a class or anything. It's all on YouTube, right? So with that in mind, start to finish, my videos take about 12 hours each. And it's about 6 to 7 hours of editing. But the upside of all of that is, I'm almost lazy. And I say that because I do not like cold calling. I don't like, having to cultivate these leads myself. I kind of want them to come to me. So I say to myself, if I can create the best video possible, these leads will come to me. I don't have to go searching for them. I don't have to do any outbound marketing. I don't have to cost the company anything other than the time that it takes me to develop this one video. And my audience gets to enjoy it as a byproduct. So, it's a win-win for me. And I hate selling. Like, I hate the awkward pitching and all of that. So it just eliminates all of that. I hop on these calls. The people know the deal. They know who I am. Much easier to sell. Program kind of sells itself. So I think that's really helpful.
Well, here's the thing though. Like, again, if we're looking at like what you're doing with selling LinkedIn video,
right?
So one thing, but I mean, the guy with the wood and the plumber,
yes.
I'm reaching out to him and I'm going, he's still going to have to sell me on his plumbing services.
But people like him. People like him, right? So because they like him, they like his style. When they have a plumbing issue, he's the first that they turn to. And we've already seen it happen with him because he was like, he's charismatic in his video. People like his style. It's like, hey, you know what? Like, I do have this issue. Can you come by? And, so again, like, because he's trying to attract people close to him, he does have to put in a little bit more legwork, but some of those leads have come a little bit easier to him because he has that already built in. People already know him.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think that makes sense. I think the other topic that I would love to find out is obviously like you and Shay, you guys get mass views, right? But if most videos that I see are in that 600 to 1,000.
Very fair. Yep.
And I've also seen people I've seen people getting 200 likes on a video and they're getting 600 views.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing people getting 7 likes and 600 views. So I don't necessarily want to dig into why and how that could happen, but
why not, dude? Listen, gloves are off, brother. Gloves are off.
I think that's a different topic, and that's not to do with video and text. And there's plenty of people
right.
who are engaged in different things with text as well. I guess what I'm saying with that is if your overall reach is 600 people, and you have a very tight knit group of people that you're connected to, and you're only getting 600 views, and you're spending this money or you're spending the time editing it, wouldn't you much rather spend the time, a quarter of the time and do it for free and reach, 20,000, 40,000, 60,000, 100,000.
Right. I think there's so much to unpack with this. Like, there's the first factor, and probably the most important one, is in terms of impressions or views, video content. A lot of people don't realize this. Video content works different than text content. With text content, the impression or view is 1 second. With video content, it's 3 seconds. So basically, somebody has to sit on your video for 3 seconds in order to be considered a view. And this comes straight from LinkedIn. Like, this is something we learned back in early 2019, that the algorithm does work a little bit different. So with that in mind, considering that, it does take a little bit more to get video views. And you also notice that it won't be as extensive. Basically, somebody could be scrolling through the feed, right? And they just happen to stop on yours, boom, that text post gets a view. But for a video, you actually have to stop on it, view it for a couple of seconds, and then move on. And a lot of that has to do with like the post analytics, like the analytics on the back end, where you can actually click and see, like how many views it got, how much time people watch the video for. And then there's another variable to it. One of the reasons why I love video so much is it's kind of like, when you're buying something, or even consulting services, right? Like the fact that you can actually listen to the person articulate the message, I do feel that it sells the product a little bit easier than just a text post, right? Like you actually get a feel for what this person is going to do, how this person's going to act. Like the first time I met Shay, I was like, oh my God, she is exactly the way she presents herself on video. And her energy was a lot of the selling point. If all Shay ever did was text post, it just wouldn't be as appealing. Not that she's a bad writer, but a lot of like the electricity and energy that she brings to her content is what sold her, right? And so you have those variables, and I just think that like I said, a lot of us, we're not great writers, but we're good at delivering a message on video. So it's kind of like it goes back to like playing to our strengths. So I think that, those are some of the variables. But what are your thoughts?
I mean, I look at it like this. Again, I got, let's say I got 4 posts going out in a day, and I got 200 to 300 comments to work with. I mean, the percentage of what I'm trying to do is to try and get to the DM and then trying to get them in person. And the thing is if people see you, I mean, it's the same thing. They're going to see your name and they become familiar with you. And I think I think I can look at it and go, man, there's so much consumption out there. And so look, I talk to my real friends off LinkedIn, like people in the real world. Nobody cares about LinkedIn. Like they're on Instagram.
What do you mean?
Yeah, what do I mean? Exactly. So then I look at it and I take it a step further and I go, okay, what's your video on whatever it is, right? Your video. And then I go watch an Instagram video. Then I go watch the 10 billion hours on YouTube. Then I turn on the news. Do you think I'm really like worried about that video I saw for 45 seconds on LinkedIn? I think I get the feeling, but I think with text post, and really with most things, it's familiarity. So, you know, when I talk to people, they know I'm a recruiter, they know I'm a headhunter because I have it and they see it all the time. I engage with them, I take it offline, and we make a meaningful connection. So that's where I'm kind of like, even with everything that Trevor is saying, and these other guys who are saying about like, because Trevor's just commenting a lot, that's why I keep seeing him on there. But
Trevor's my boy.
You know, it's like I'm getting inbound leads. It's like, well, I mean, I'm getting inbound leads too, and I get 200 comments, and I turn them into relationships, and I take it offline all the time. And I just find that offline through a conversation, it's the same thing. So I guess where I'm going with that is, are people actually remembering like your video after they spend, 20 seconds watching it, then they go to Instagram, then they go over to that, or are they just remembering, hey, I've seen that guy on LinkedIn a bunch of times?
You know how I know? And I do it purposely. And you know what, Joel? Like, you know the answer to this. Why am I telling you? What do you think I'm thinking about? What do you think I'm thinking? What do you think I'm going to say?
I'm thinking that you definitely have people DM you. They're like, hey man, the algorithm. Okay.
Algopocalypse.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, algopocalypse. Connequity. In my videos, in my content, I'm constantly making up words. And I'm not doing it just to be silly. I'm not doing it because I'm just a really creative guy. I'm doing it to see how many times, weeks later, people will refer to some word I made up. Will refer to some, like I'll use the word, what was it? It'll be like AAA, it'll be this, and that, and then like break down the word. And what I'm trying to figure out is like, how many times after that video are people still using those words? How many times are they referencing it again? And if people continue to use the same words or reference it, or even better, like you did in your post, like you actually referenced the word I created and used it in your post. You're not the only one. I see it every day.
No. And right? I mean,
that's how I know. That's how I know that my message.
That came from our DMs.
Right. It's just an example. But the point being is that you're not the only one. A lot of people do that. And that's how I know that something that I said actually resonated with them because they remember the word, right? So I think that speaks to the power of it. And I purposely put them throughout my videos. Like I put them at like the 50-second mark, the 2-minute mark, because I want to figure out how long are people watching? Where are they dropping off? What can I do to optimize it to keep their attention till the end, right? So yeah, like I do believe that I'm getting to them to some degree, like making it somewhat memorable. But you're right. At the end of the day, like
you're killing it, dude. And again, like, I mean, you're killing it, dude. So like, you're like almost like I can't even use you as an example because your videos are so good. I think the only other person I can think of right now that's doing anywhere close to what you're doing with video is probably Alex Sheridan. He's the other guy that's kind of been popping up. And he's kind of doing it.
And here's the thing with Alex Sheridan. Interesting story. I hope he's listening to this. I called him. And I called him because I was nervous. I was like,
he's up and coming, man.
I was like, this guy over here, like, he's dangerous. I better become friends with him. And I put him in our Monday show because I was like, that guy's going to be a threat later. I want to make sure that I was a part of building him up so that I could have some credit in that process. Because, yeah, he's a dangerous guy. I see a lot of great things with him, too.
He's killing it. But outside of you guys, I mean, some of the other people who are doing videos, like when I think of video, I'm thinking of Q. I'm thinking of Jackie. I'm thinking of maybe like some of the people who are doing video for a long time. Now, I mean, like I said, outside of you,
I'm about to like start some fires. Irrelevant.
Irrelevant. Well,
all of those guys are irrelevant, and I want you to challenge me. Like, go ahead, you guys, Q, Jackie, all of you, go ahead, try me. irrelevant.
Well, I read today on like One Accused newsletter, he's doing something else, so he's kind of faded away from video. But again, he's he's like the godfather of video, and he's walking away from it. But Bridget's still posting. She's been doing it for years. So, you gotta, a lot of people come up strong with that video game, and then they're
early adopters. It's just like YouTube, early adopters. But
so you're there for the long run. You're there for the long run.
Yeah, like if you're not constantly innovating, the videos that I'm doing today look nothing like they did 3 months ago, which looks nothing like they did 6 months ago. And Liam is a great example because he's basically, I saw a message, he's been following me since February, so he knows, he's seen the evolution. And that is where so many video creators, and Joel, let's be honest, even text posts, they fail there because they're not innovating their content. They're not stepping it up. It looks the same as it did last year. There's nothing new. And if you think about it, you have, like you said, you have so many options. You have so many options, so much content you can create. Like there are so many, you're not just fighting the people in your news feed, right? You're fighting television. You're fighting podcasting. You're fighting Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Everybody has so many options. It is so easy to become irrelevant. And I'm not trying to pick on the old folks, but yeah, it's so easy. If you're not putting the extra time to innovate and create better and better content, you're going to be left in the dust.
So what does that look like for you, man? I mean, because I look at it and I go, you're hilarious. You're funny. I know one of your posts was about school. I watched that one. I showed it to my buddy. I'm like, dude, we're going to have a battle tonight. After school fight. He's like, dude, that guy's hilarious. He's going to rip you to pieces. What about live stream? Why aren't you doing any live streaming? Because to me, live stream is really great. That's probably
LinkedIn won't give it to us. Yeah. LinkedIn won't give it to us. Honestly, I don't know if it's affiliation, like with the company that I work with, and they're not giving it due to that. I don't know if it's a pod thing. I don't know if it's because my belief is we are selling LinkedIn marketing services on LinkedIn. Like it is not to LinkedIn's benefit to support people like us because we take money away from the ads. If we are showing how to organically or, with a little bit of manipulation, how to grow a following, like you think LinkedIn wants that, like organic engagement? No, they want you to pay for it. They want you to pay for the views. So I would argue to some degree, like I know because LinkedIn looks at our content. They show up on every Monday, Tuesday, see like the employees looking at the content, but they won't approve us for LinkedIn Live. So that's a whole other can of worms.
I mean, Trevor says something here too. He says live is video. And he goes, haha, like as if don't know, as if I don't know this is a video. I appreciate the bold of confidence there, bud. But no,
thanks, Trevor.
This is video, but there's also a different with the live because it's not produced. And so, to be honest, man, like I've worked with CEOs, I've worked with a lot of the guys in construction, for example. I don't know whether like flying POW and like funny stuff to them. Like I think they're just like, okay, cool. And I think we're still at that level. Now, again, fast forward 5 years, 10 years, and maybe there's people who are more into video and they're the major decision makers. I think maybe that's when you start to see a real push. But then it's like so many other platforms are great for video. So like, for example, with you guys, why don't you do a live stream on YouTube? I mean, why stay on LinkedIn?
We actually started to, and it was basically because we didn't have another choice. We started like our Monday shows on YouTube because none of us could get LinkedIn Live, right? Now Travis has LinkedIn Live, so we have that option, but for a long time we did. And you know what? We built up a YouTube presence. It was kind of by accident. It was because we didn't have a choice. We don't want to pull people off of LinkedIn, right? Like that's friction. We don't want to create additional friction, and because you're going to lose people that way. Somebody's going to drop off. But it is a strategy, and it has worked well. Are you doing the same thing?
I mean, yeah, this is streaming onto YouTube right now. So
is it really?
Makes sense to just stream to both. I got 0 followers. I don't have. I mean, I'm all in on LinkedIn right now with the text post. I'm a one-man band. I got to be realistic with my resources. I know a lot of the people who are that I noticed doing videos. It's a lot of CEOs. It's a lot of business owners. It's guys who are already established. I'm not in that position. I'm trying to build a business. I got time. So for me to flick some text on there, however dumb it seems, it's working. Like people know who I am. If I talk to them, they're like, hey dude, I've been following you for 6 months. I love your posts. Like I love the stuff you're doing. So like in some ways, like people saying comments like, yeah, it doesn't impact in the same way. cool, man. I mean, it's like, read my DMs. Like, it's plenty of impact going on there. I think it's to do, like someone else said, it's to do with what works best and what works well for you. It's interesting to me though, like that LinkedIn wouldn't want you to have live, because I think you would drive a ton of live activity. And I think your activity as a whole is keeping people on the platform. So I'm kind of confused with that. But one of the things I think we could get into, man, is the pod activity, because I think that's the thing that keeps coming up. You mentioned it a little bit. I don't use any type of pod, and I haven't seen any stifled engagement. So obviously you guys are coaching people and using pods. Why is that? Why not just have it like organically and be able to test and get better and grow a following organically? Like why the pod activity?
I think it's what it has become. And I think that, what I also want people to understand is pods will not make a mediocre creator into an amazing creator. So, like there is a degree that it will help you, but it will not save a bad post. Because it'll be like the cases that you said, where it'll be like, because one thing you cannot fake are views. I guess unless you buy them, I'm sure there's services where you can buy views. You won't see them within the first 24 hours. That's an absolute guarantee. You can't fake views. And like you said, you'll see those posts that they have 200 likes and only 600 views. Like, again,
Got some good comments though. It's great post. You're awesome. Keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
Great
Right,
post.
right.
Awesome. What are you doing? It's all you get.
Right.
Because
Essentially what does happen now, there are like the automated pods, and then you have like the legitimate pods. But the reason why you can't really tell the difference all the time is because nobody has time for pods. They're very difficult to keep up with. Like to get people to engage actively in them daily, impossible. Now, the way that I view pods is, like I told you before, number one, let's, elephant out of the room. We teach about pods. So I have to support them because it's a part of the company, right? But I've also learned to see the value in them. So I'm not dogging them in any way. But to go back to the pods, remember what I said, I am selling an experience, right? So just like, whatever your favorite sitcom was growing up, probably had a laugh track. What is the purpose of a laugh track? It's to create atmosphere, right? When you're watching the show and you hear the person laughing, there's no audience there, And how jarring has it been to watch sports today without an audience? It's jarring. It feels empty, like the laughs are lower. The engagement is lower. We don't feel as connected to these sports because there's nobody cheering, right? That audience is there for a reason, That audience is there to create the ambiance so that it feels more important. It feels bigger, right? So, one of the reasons why, I will use the pods is because I'm creating an experience. My audience is a part of the experience. Like, I honestly look at my content, like I would be doing this content even if I wasn't getting paid to do it, because I enjoy it. And I hope that shows through my content that I just love doing it.
You would be getting good amount of views if you didn't have pods, which is why I think.
Right. And there's a big part of me that doesn't want to do it anymore. And I think that you see it more now because like you see me being a little bit more authentic in the comment section. I joke different. I'm more myself than through my content because my content feeds a much bigger machine than myself. Right. I work for a business that pushes this. Right. So, like to a degree, I have to be, strategic with what I do and how I approach things. But I like the fact that there's stories. I like the fact that there's these other features. And you know what? Look, dude, like I have so much respect for guys like you, guys like my buddy Adam that won't use it. Like the people that will not touch the pods. I have so much respect for them because you know what? Like there is a smell that goes along with people that have pods. It's hard to get off of you, and I hate to say it like that, but it's the truth, Go ahead.
Can I jump in real quick? I've been quiet for like 39 minutes, but I found my one quick. I feel like I'm like taking earfuls. There's one thing that you hit on, Jonathan, that I thought was really interesting, and that was that you said that your videos are a form of entertainment.
Right.
And when you have like the laugh track on a sitcom, people are watching that laugh track or watching that sitcom expecting entertainment. And so the laughing, like, it's just part of the ambiance.
It's part of the show. It's part of the show.
But I'm curious, Joel, would you consider your content entertainment or something else?
I mean, it's a mix of engagement is entertainment. like it's keeping people engaged in what I'm talking about. So I have to get creative. I have to think of things that I think are creative ideas, and so I tell a story, and so in that form it's entertainment. But all social media is entertainment. Like Facebook's entertainment. Entertainment is what we spend our time doing to pass time because we don't want to do anything. Everything is entertainment. So I think that is a big mistake that a lot of people make with content anyway, is like they forget the entertainment factor, and they can maybe lean too much on like, straight facts, or just, it's like sharing articles doesn't work, because it's like, I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear your creativity. And someone keeps asking, I just think, just for people who don't know, what is a pod? Pod is, Jonathan, maybe you should explain it, since you have a better idea of what a pod is.
I feel like I'm going to pacify it, but I'm going to give an answer that satisfies everybody in the room, right? So essentially what a pod is, it's a group of people that agree to like and comment on each other's content. So it is not because the content is organically appearing on their feed. It's, you share a link, you say, hey, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. And then people take it to the next level by also using automated pods. So basically it comments on your behalf. So it's basically like a club of people that all agree to engage in each other's content. So it is not because they love the content. Sometimes people don't even like it, but they will comment because it's the agreed terms. And that, that does hurt not only your algorithm, your reputation, but obviously, like, it takes away from people like Joel, who puts out amazing content. The biggest thing, I wish people could see the views on all your content. I feel like that would be a huge game changer, the way that people perceive your content. If they could
I showed the views, this
but
year.
Imagine if it was every post. Imagine if they
then
could
you
see
would
it.
know. Then you would know. But
Right.
I mean, you see it with my content, because sometimes I'll post something and I get 13 likes. So it's like, that's the risk I take every time. The risk I take every time is if I post something bad, I don't have my buddies to come over and help me out. But the point that I'm curious about is, don't you think the algorithm is smart enough to figure out, I'm showing this on 100 people's screens, the average engagement of posts is 2 to 3%, and this guy's got 20% engagement. Don't you think the algorithm knows where the post comes from, whether it comes on a feed or through a message?
I don't think so. You know why? Because LinkedIn, despite what Chris Williams will tell you, how many times has he been banned? Because I haven't been banned yet. Neither has Shay. But guy's been banned like 4 times. He hates pods. He's on like this war path to get rid of the pods, but he's the one that keeps getting banned. So go figure. Anyways, I love Chris Williams. I love his stuff. But,
I do too. Richard Head. You can't mess with Richard Head. I think that's why he's getting banned. But English people, I mean, I love English. I'm from England.
I think he might be barking up the wrong tree. But I love his stuff. But I think he's barking up the wrong tree. So the point being is that I don't think that LinkedIn really cares, because at the end of the day, if you see somebody with a ton of engagement, we see this with some rival companies, right? They're like, they have like the 4,000 or 5,000 likes on a single post. That is going to get more people to engage in it. So you're kind of creating the loop. So I think that LinkedIn kind of looks past it. I don't feel like, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head recently that has been banned, that has been shadow banned, 24-hour ban because of pod use.
I mean, I don't mean shadow ban. I just mean like that example of someone recently. You do a show with him, so I'll call him out a little bit, but I won't exactly say who it is. But they had a post. It was like 695 views, and the guy had 200 likes.
Yes.
And I put out a video. I get I probably get 100, 150 likes, and I get 1,500 views, and it's in proportion. But and then I look at the post. It's like, you just go through the comments. It's great post, great post, great post, great post. And I guess that's where it is. It's like, so why even waste the time doing that? Like, why not? How is are you converting your friends into leads? Like, I guess that's
yeah. Like that's the thing, and that's where we get like a little bit controversial, because it's, his clients or any clients of anybody that may be using these methods doesn't know. Remember, like, everybody else in the world doesn't understand LinkedIn. It's like the 1% of the 1% can see and know what's going on. But that is such a small percentage of people, right? So, his clients may view that and think to themselves, it's like the heart of emojis on Instagram. You know, like if you've done any work on Instagram, you can fake engagement the same way over there.
Or right? Like someone who does work on Instagram, man. Come on, there's a reason I'm doing text posts on LinkedIn. All right,
right. Point being, you know, like prospects will not know the difference. They won't even pay attention to the views. I pay attention to the views. If my views are down but my engagement's high, I'm like, what's going on here? You know, like my engagement rate is actually not super high. It might be, it's high. It's like 6%. You know, it's like 6% more or less. But that is still, you know, that's not 20% or 14% that some of these other ones get. So, you know, like that's something that we have to keep in check, you know. But yeah, like I think clients won't know the difference. They'll just say, wow, this person's very established.
I think do you think you have to do pod then for video to work? Because I do see a lot of videos out there that like tank pretty badly. Right. And they just, you know, like let's say you're not in a pod, you just, you know, the guy with the selfie, maybe you do like a little bit of an edit on there. And, you know, you put in 2 hours and you get 12 likes and you get 1 comment and you get 100 views. You have to be in a pod to make video work, in your opinion?
That's a tough one. I think no. I think that real will always win. The cream will always rise to the top. And this is where I'll give credit to an Alex Sheridan. Guy, I know for a fact, doesn't use pods. He doesn't use them.
Yeah, and I see that because on his post, he'll get in an hour, he's
killing it. Killing it.
Yeah.
He's putting in the work. He's building his audience. And I could say authentically, like, dude does not use pods. So, you know, it can be done. Is it going to take you longer? Absolutely. But it can 100% be done. And you know what? I look at guys like him and I'm like, yeah, he's going to be up there, you know? So, yeah. And even like agency clients we work with, you know, like I've had the benefit of seeing some high level people. They all do the same thing. It's all the same game. You know, like a Gary Vaynerchuk, no, he's legit. But when you get up there on that level, a lot of the people doing the same game.
Yeah, no, and I get that. I think, you know, I mean, the game is the game. It's just game takes time too. Like you said, I mean, it's a lot to manage. Do you think, okay, let me ask you this. And, you know, I guess it's gone away from video and text, which I think is fine. But,
dude, I'm looking at your comment section. So it's just like,
it's
whatever's bringing the eyeballs, let's keep it going.
Everybody's here for that part of the conversation that was not planned. So
what I'm curious about is, okay, like for me, for example, I'm not in a pod. I'm using a text only post. So everybody who posts in there, there's a good amount of people that I know, obviously, that I've got to know. And obviously you're more likely to engage with people you know. So you could say that I have some pod activity, but it's through the news feed. It's not through messaging, right? So like,
well, what I'm going to ask is, like, let's say ethically speaking, like if I was going to like perform at a concert, right? And I wanted to invite my friends and family, and they were the only people in the audience, but they're my friends and family. Is there anything wrong with that?
No, but they're your friends and family, right? Are people
right? But
the
people on LinkedIn very much have become like, they are people that I have friends and family on LinkedIn. They don't support me.
No, but I would say this: like my mom shows up to the rock concert, and she's the only one there. She's like, dude, you need to quit playing rock music.
The way that I view it is like, for example, like a Trevor. Like, I legitimately like Trevor's content. I like Adam's content. I would be in a pod with people like that because I legitimately, like, I miss their content. I do not see it in my feed. I want to see it more, right? So, like, when they share their links with me, I legitimately sit there and I watch it.
Yeah, but you could just
I would want to see Joel's content.
You could just look them up. I mean, dude, I'm not a pod, so I
could, but it's like it's inconvenient, right? It's more friction. If Joel decided to like share his link with me, and I could, it's basically like, you know, LinkedIn does it. They send us notifications when you're tagged in something, right? So, you know, if Joel just sent me his link, it's like, dude, you're making it easier for me. I want to catch up with what Joel's doing, you know? So, but that's not necessarily what pods are in the traditional sense. That's like an evolved pod. You know? And most of us do not use it that way. But, you know, like altruistically, perfect world, that would be like a safe option. I wouldn't see a problem with that. I would defend that.
Okay. I wouldn't either. And I think that makes sense because it's a genuine relationship. I think
they're my friends. Yeah.
The challenge that I have with pods is that I don't necessarily know a lot of the people that are in them, and it's that requirement that you have to like, right? Like if we were all in a gigantic LinkedIn group chat and we just shot the shit all day, and we just were like, I just post something new, run over there and check it out, right? Yeah, that's totally cool. I think the thing that's weird is like feeling like I have to like something that I don't actually like.
Oh my gosh, but I won't do it. I won't do it.
But isn't that the rule? Isn't that like what everything is supposed to? Isn't that what pods are?
Yes and no. Like we've gotten to the point where the people that I'm in a pod with right now, like they're a little bit higher level. Like I don't want to put anybody down, let's say, but they're higher level to the degree that it's like if there's stuff, like if I do not align, I don't know what to comment. Like that's the biggest problem. I'm like, dude, your industry is so obscure, I don't even know what to say. And I am not gonna say great content. Like if my VA says it, I'm sorry, my virtual assistant barely speaks English. They said, and that'd be a cool. Now that's a good conversation to have about virtual assistants, because that's a big problem on LinkedIn, right? So if you wanted to get into that one, it's like that's maybe for another day.
I think the challenge that I have with it, right, is like I said, if I post something and it's just not good, it like the algorithm tells me it's not good. Like not the algorithm, like people tell me it's not good because it bombs. But that like then it's like, how do you come up with good ideas? Well, because like I have to, man. I have to completely evolve. And I think to me, like in just like a long-term kind of speaking, cool, you're on a pod on LinkedIn. Guess what? 5 years, no one cares about any of this. But like, are you actually getting better at what you're doing and like figuring out really how to grow an audience? And it's like, if you have a safety, it's the same with tagging people. Like you tag 50 people in your post because you're insecure about whether or not people are going to respond. You just are never going to get better. And it's to me, that's what it is. It's like I posted 660 posts this year just to test like what works, what doesn't, why? Because I'm looking to help clients now figure that out for themselves. But what I don't want my clients to do is to get a security blanket and think it's even about engagement or about these things. What I want them to do is figure, okay, how do I get that my own creativity, and how do I figure out how to respond to my audience? And I just don't see a way to do that when you have a security blanket, because it's like literally, even if you got to start small, then stop selling followers and engagement. Start selling, we're going to grow you an organic following. And it's everything that people have said. So like Trevor said, Joel, have you shared a post with someone? Yeah, I did. Day 3 with Lorena Acosta, and she was the only person that responded to me. And she liked it. But other than that, I don't do that. I don't even tag anybody. Bro, I don't even use emojis in my post. Okay? And I stopped doing that. And that's when it actually became like, okay, I have to do something that's engaging, because if I don't, like they're not going to engage. And people go, well, engagement doesn't matter. If engagement doesn't matter, then get out of the pod. Don't post. If engagement doesn't matter, make your video, stick it at home, watch it yourself. Engagement doesn't matter. But I'm on here to create those connections, and I want to be that person that content is evolving and getting better. And it blows my mind. That's why this stuff blows my mind, is because it's like people are going to show up for you no matter what. And it's like, how then are you even testing things in a way that's like rational? It doesn't make any sense.
Like you mean from me specifically, or just like general?
Just in general. So like you get a client and we're like, okay, we want to actually make your videos good. If like 20 people from the gang are showing up, then like it's tainted right from the get-go. So it's like how do you actually really figure out?
Like what we do and what we've started to get a little bit better about is aligning people with individuals that are in their industry. So like take a Trevor Houston, for example, not necessarily that he's doing this at the moment, but he's just an example. He works in recruiting, and he works in a couple of different industries, right? And
I thought he was insurance, right? That's what he does.
Yeah. Like I'm just obscure, but like let's say that he's like, in recruiting or, like whatever industry it may be, and we can align him. Like, let's say there's new people that come into the program and they're in recruiting, right? So now if we put him in a group with Trevor, now, when Trevor engages in his content, that new person is going to make all of these new connections with other people that might be like ideal clients or within the industry. And it basically like, it's kind of like traditional networking. it helps that new person make new connections, potential collaborations, and it basically turns this person that starting off with barely anything and elevates them to a degree. So it's not really about getting more engagement in their post directly. It's about all the relationships that get cultivated by bringing in, Trevor's following. And, now it's showing up on Trevor's feed, this new person. We want to work with people that we know, like, and trust. And I do believe that, if somebody likes Trevor's stuff and like Trevor likes theirs, like this new person's stuff, and they trust Trevor, now just by, like, affiliation, more people will trust this new person. So yeah,
Trevor, that's kind of. Do you ever mass email? No, I don't mass email. I hate. Here's the thing, okay? I hate automation, and I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real with you right now. Okay, in recruiting, you need 5 to 10 good clients, right? And I think most people within the service industry, you don't actually need 1 million clients. You need a small amount. And so I don't need to mass email. I send a personalized email to 10 people who are really good candidates, and it's personalized. It's going to hit them. I need 3 of those people to respond. Like, I don't think of like mass tactics, because I think mass tactics, they can ruin your brand just as easily, more so than most things. So all these guys who are sending out newsletters right now, because we're connected on LinkedIn, I unsubscribe every time, because I'm like, I never subscribe to this.
Yeah,
it's garbage, dude. And I think the only point I would make with that, John, is like, this is what I really feel like, right? Is you can make a real connection with someone that, and to me, it's more real than a pod, because in a pod, it's like, okay, guys and girls, hold hands, we'll make friends. You know what? I make my own friends, and if someone wants to engage with me, they'll engage with me. They don't, I don't need your forced engagement. I'll find someone who wants to engage with my content.
I have to mention it. I have to mention it. Like, it looks like Alex just decided to join us now. And Alex,
look at this guy.
Alex,
no need to join the pod.
I want you to do me a favor and go back, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I said a lot of nice things about you. We all know you don't use pods. I said it. So go back and listen to it. We said a lot of nice things about you.
and Alex, what we were saying, man, is like, I mean, Alex is one of those guys who's coming up. He's got some great video content, and I can tell he's not in a pod, because when I go look at his stuff, it'll be like 39, 40 likes in the first hour, but it keeps growing because it's a quality post. I see a lot of posts that are in pods, and it's like, they do good for the first hour, but guess what?
And then they tank. Yeah, they disappear.
Algorithms change, man. My stuff goes on for weeks now, like the text posts and the video. I see video posts from 2 weeks ago. The pod posts, it's like, I'm telling you, man, that first hour they explode and then they just die and never see them again. And I think that's where I'm saying, though, man, it's like, you don't need to force. This platform's about connection. So if you got a forced connection, then you're missing the whole point. And like, even with what you're saying, to me, that's slightly like, Trevor, I mean, how do you know that Simon's good? Like, you just joined the pod. He's a newbie. And the other point is, you're saying for newbies, why is Trevor still in the pod? He's been in there for 2 years. Is he like scared to leave the pod? It's a security blanket. Do a pod for 3 months, get some fake engagement, make yourself feel good, then get out and figure out what works.
I think
now, I will say, like, the pods that I'm in, like, you do develop relationships with these people. Now, my definition of a pod and what, like, maybe what some others look at, unless, like you said, if your VA is going wild and like helping you out or whatever, that's different. But, like, the people that, like, my really dedicated pods, like, again, they're like people that I actually like, that I actually have built these relationships with, and I want to see their content. But yeah, like, for example, I don't engage in the newer people, that come through the boot camp. I don't, because like I'm trying to coach them. I'm walking them through the process, but I also have the awareness that they're not there yet. Now, what I will do is, like, when they post their first video, of course, like, they're like my kids. Like, they came into the program, so of course I'm going to help them. Of course I'm going to be there for them. I'm going to be like, hey, give me your link. Yeah, like I wrote your script. Like, of course I want to help you.
For sure.
But there is a difference. Yeah, there is a difference.
And I'm getting emotional about this, but it's only because, like, I honestly, like, really care.
But you have the right, like, and that's something
I care about relationship, man. And I just feel like there is something to be said for just, like, straight up organic relationship. And I can tell you, like, I know, like, I get good engagement on my stuff, but when I actually look through who's liking it, it's people I know as well. But it wasn't like because we had to join this group and it's a secret society. It's like we became friends on LinkedIn. We had a couple conversations offline and we got to know each other. And so it's like, you're saying, hey, the pods, we develop relationships. I'm saying you develop relationships. Like, and I think that's what it is. I just don't think you need to facilitate relationships necessarily.
I think you also get a lot more at bats than like myself, for example, like, because, you know, like, for example, if you're putting out 4 pieces of content a day, they may not see number 1, number 3, but they'll see 2 and 4, right?
Sure.
So they still get their dose of Joel. Where in my case, like, listen, you get my Monday post or you get my Thursday post. If not, you're not seeing me at all. You know, so there is that part that like they just won't see me. They'll completely miss content. I have people that will write me kind of like frustrated. It's like, I don't know why you stopped appearing in my feed. And it's because they're liking and engaging on posts all week. So, you know, just by design, if there's only 2 of mine and 15 of somebody else's, I'm gonna show up less in their feed. Yeah. Naturally, you know.
You always show up on my feed and I'll go look for you. And I guess that's the point. It's like, I'm not in a pod with you. I just like.
But I want to challenge you. Since like this has turned into a pod thing, I want to say this. You know, as a challenge, it's like, does it become selfish when you're posting 4 or 5 times a day? Because essentially, what you're doing is you are very unique. You create great content that, like, again, like same deal. It sits at the top of the feed a lot. But then it's like you're almost cannibalizing all of your competition, which, hey, you know, like we're all trying to make it, right? But it's like it's giving a lot less people a chance to stand out. My thing is I post and then I get out of the way. I'm like, you know what? It's somebody else's turn. Listen, Alex needs some views too. If I'm creating content every day, Alex wouldn't exist, you know? So I need to make sure to give him a little bit of space too, you know? So and that's my view on it. I want everybody to get a chance at bat, a chance to stand out. But if you're creating 4 posts a day, I don't like, this is the way I view it. I don't talk to my mom every day, but I am seeing Joel 4 times a day. Like there's something wrong with this measurement. If I'm seeing Joel,
but to your point, like
you're a very good looking guy, but I don't want to see you 4 times a day.
Well, I got that really cool, like I got my cool picture at my head. No, but what I've noticed is like in reality, like so this is why I actually started posting more, was because there's more competition on LinkedIn because everybody's talking about posting on LinkedIn, right? It's like the curse of like the influencer, you know? It's like you got these people who are like, dude, you just got to post on LinkedIn. And it's like, LinkedIn sucks. Then it's like, everyone's like, oh, I've got to jump on LinkedIn. Creates more competition. So I know for a fact, like based on how like my news feed is, like if I like somebody's thing, they'll show up again. And so not everybody's seeing my 4 posts because I get people will respond to my posts like 2 weeks. I just know like, all in all, I'm showing up probably as much as, I mean, that's like Chris Hummels, for example, who's killing it on content, right? Views wise, he's showing up 4 days as well, 4 times a day.
What like but it's also, when you say killing it, where's Adam? I think Adam already took up.
Well,
when you say killing it, are you talking? Did you mean killing his reputation, or like killing it with content?
I mean killing it with like. Killing the platform. Okay, let's be honest. And it's other people who have said that to me, where it's like if you find like something that's really viral, you know, like you recycle that every 4 weeks. The reason I feel okay with it is
no.
Exactly. And I post short.
I have never reposted a video. Like
I hope not. I mean, you only do 2 a week. You should not be I should be recycling content. I'm doing 4 things a day. I should be recycling. But to your point, it's like I'll do a short one. So I do a short, short post, and then I do a medium-sized one, and then my sales, like my sales posts that I do, I mean, dude, those get like little engagement. So those aren't showing up on anyone's because they're super targeted to recruiters. So I don't really feel like I am bombarding the system, but I'm showing up every day, and I think hopefully people will see me every day. But dude, I love this, man. We've been on for an hour and 5 minutes. It's gone from text versus video. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, man, like your videos are super awesome, and I do love videos. So Trevor, I like your videos. I've seen some of your videos. They're okay. Don't love the pods. Okay.
You know what? Like, but I want to I want to encourage you to really check out Trevor's stuff. Trevor is the nicest guy. Like
Dude,
when I first met,
he's helping out job seekers, man. He's a good guy. Tell me about when you first met Trevor.
Yeah, no, when I first met Trevor, I was like, honestly, like a little intimidated because he knows his stuff. He's been on LinkedIn for a long time. And, but like what I learned quickly, he's a man of God. Like he's a great guy, and he's a great resource and he's incredibly supportive. So yeah, much love for Trevor.
Trevor, I'm going to throw it out to you, buddy. I'm not in your pod, but we can still be friends. And I'm in your student, so if you want to strike up an organic relationship, my brother, we're good to do that. And dude, like I said, man, your video is awesome. I know like the things you're saying about my text posts are really encouraging as well. And I do feel like,
dude, I want you to see that about yourself. Like you are in a field of your own, and that is why you have as much engagement. You have watch parties, because I do believe like we're both individuals that are at the top of our game. And really, like setting the standard quite high, so it's one of those things like the point of this conversation is you can't compare it to me. You can't compare it to you because we're in a completely different atmosphere right now.
And let's just, I just want to see if we've had any more results. You were winning last time I checked, which I put it down to like just everything about you, but that's okay. Let's see. And I made it clear. I was like, you know what? This is not Joel versus Jonathan here, but Travis wanted to make it. So let's just see. We got, and by the way, we got 377 comments that I see on this live feed. So everybody out there, I would have loved to have this a little bit more interactive because that's kind of what I love about LinkedIn Live. But you guys are awesome out there as well. Hopefully you guys had fun with this. Dude, you pulled ahead, man. You had six ahead of us. So
I wish you didn't tag me. I wanted to know like how much of it is just like Shay's name value carrying my ass, or if it's legitimately because people love video.
Let me just tell you something, all right? Okay, when I see your clients' posts, I know that they're a client of you guys. But dude, honestly, like when I see your videos, I don't think of you associated with Shay. Like I think of you as like,
I appreciate it.
Your content stands alone.
Agreed.
So like, yeah, you work with Shay. Obviously you're doing a killer job and you're doing a great job with clients, but like your content stands alone. I don't think of Shay. I think of you with that. And, like the style with, I made that comment before with like the borders and all that sort of stuff, but man, what's engaging about your stuff? It's like, you make it fun. It's engagement. It's like wild. It's everything, man. So don't, that's all you. That's nothing to do with the Shay name. So, Liam, dude, you got to wrap us up with this. I mean, I feel kind of bad that I wasted an hour and 7 minutes of your time on here.
My ears are numb at the moment. I actually have really enjoyed this conversation, and more importantly, the comments have been pretty awesome too. I think we could probably talk about this for a lot longer. But personally, I think that there's a couple things we could probably all agree on, and one is that the LinkedIn platform is still in its earliest stages in terms of content creation. And there's people that are killing it on the video front. There are people that are killing it on the text front. There are people that are in pods. There are people that are in pods that aren't as like rule-driven pods. There are people that are in pods that are super loose. And the fact of the matter is that everybody's got an opinion and a voice and a style. And that's kind of what I think makes this platform kick ass, is that everybody can show that. Whether they have people that are liking it on their behalf or they are just going completely organic 100%, like whatever it is, I think the fact that there's so much authenticity around here and there's like people that there's not a lot of negativity on the platform. I think that's why I like it so much. It's why I think like Joel's stuff is really inspiring. It's why I think, Jonathan, like your stuff is hilarious, right? It makes me smile and it puts me in a good mood, right? So I don't really give a shit how many videos you put a week. I don't really care if you use pods or not. Like at the end of the day, the stuff that is on my screen is making me laugh. So I'm cool with that. Joel, same thing. Like the stuff that you put out there makes me think. And like there's different strokes for different folks, right? And I think that that's why this platform kicks ass. And I think we can all agree on that piece.
Well said, man.
So how about we play the next one? But next time, tag team. I'll get Alex on my side, pod and a non-pod video. And let's see if you can get, maybe
I'll see if I can get Bridget,
Adam.
Man.
Maybe like Adam or somebody like that on your side. defend
Dude,
those
well,
textbooks.
I heard no. I think you and Adam still have to have that debate, man, about the pods versus no pods. So we had the preview, but Adam, dude, Adam's a different level than me.
Yeah,
like Adam's not going to hold back punches.
Hot within him.
Oh, but listen, Alex isn't going to hold back punches either. That's why I feel like you're going to have two animals fighting each other. So yeah,
Whatever, man, we'll do it. We'll do it. I like it.
Alex throwing punches. So yeah, like he's a little more aggressive than me, but I like it. So yeah, he's already.
Just look at this. Look at this face right here, though, man. This is a face that like you don't want to mess with. All right, ABS. I saw him in stories the other day. Because me and him, I don't know how we were talking about it, but we were having a similar type of debate, and but it was about this conversation. And he in stories just like copy posts easy to get into, so people do it. And I'm like, dude, you gotta bring it to stories, dude. Like, if you got something to say, man, post it for everyone to see. And then Trevor, I gotta say, you've been awesome just commenter on here, and appreciate you too. So we'll leave it with this. Be you, and I'm gonna end this one. Thanks for everyone who's out there. I wish I could run through all those comments, but it'll feed my algorithm, so that's good.